Alrighty, what is going on, guys? It's Tazz here, and welcome back to the channel for a very special episode of the Legion Lounge Live. This is, of course, our Mandalorian Season 2 finale celebration review stream. As always, I am joined by my brother and co-host, Toxic Strike. What is going on, bro?
Hey, how's it going?
So yeah, this is our Mandalorian Season 2 finale stream. This is kind of a celebration. This is going to be one of the last streams of the year. Last stream before the holidays, before Christmas. That's why I'm wearing the Star Wars Christmas sweater and everything like that. We had quite the crazy finale to the second season of The Mandalorian. So we're going to talk total full spoilers on it in this stream. So if you have not watched the episode already, if you haven't watched any of the episodes of The Mandalorian this season, if you're not caught up, definitely go watch it before you continue on with this stream, because of course we will be going full spoilers on that. And then we have a couple of small things that we want to touch on at the end. Strike has been kind of preparing his Cyberpunk review for the last couple of weeks, so I'll hand it over to him and he can talk about that towards the end of the stream. But yeah, so let's just start talking about Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16, titled The Rescue. What did you think about this finale? Just initial impressions, first thoughts. What are you thinking?
I thought it easily could have been the best episode of the whole series. Now thinking back on it more, I feel like it comes pretty close to it, but I wouldn't exactly say that it is the best of the season. Well, not best of the season, best of the show. And to be honest, I don't really think that I know completely. I'd probably have to rewatch the whole show. But I don't really know exactly what that episode is, but I don't feel like it's this episode. But I know this is a very good episode. I really did enjoy this episode. And I just feel like it had a pretty decent sized ending. Not like exactly too like out of nowhere, but also kind of expected, but kind of not in the same way, you know? At least the way that it was done, I would say. How about you?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are like you, kind of going to say that this could be the best episode of the series, best episode of the season. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that this is definitely an amazing finale. I think it is a great way to wrap up a incredible season of this show. I think it kind of gave us everything that we wanted and more. A lot of predictions came true. A lot of predictions throughout the entire season came true, and it just kind of, the more that was confirmed to us throughout the season, the closer and closer we got to this finale, the more you could kind of structure how you thought it was going to go. For the most part, we got kind of everything I was expecting from this finale, and I think in that respects, I was very satisfied with it. I think it was a very satisfying end to this season, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, if this was the end of The Mandalorian, I would kind of be okay with it, because it was, it gave us a lot of closure on a lot of different aspects of this show. But was it my favorite episode of the entire series after watching it now twice? Once the night it came out, and then once actually just a couple hours before we went live. I don't quite think it is my favorite episode of the entire series, but it's definitely up there as one of my favorites for sure. So like, where would you kind of rank it, I guess, on like this season and in general? Like, is it your favorite episode, or is it just one of?
It's, yeah, as I said before, it's one of. It's not exactly, I mean, now that I think back on it, it's a very good episode, and I would have it as one of, probably like 2 or something, but I think probably 1 would maybe be like Season 1, Episode 4, like the Village episode.
Yeah, that's definitely still
Something
up
like
there. I'd say the Ahsoka episode's definitely still up there. The Cobb Vanth episode's up there, and even
it's kind of
Boba
weird,
Fett
but like, at least to me, I didn't really enjoy those, like the Cobb Vanth and the in the Ahsoka episode as much as you did. I mean, I liked them, but I think it was just like the whole idea that we knew that it was coming. That it really didn't. It didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I guess that's a big argument to be made for this entire season, though. Is a lot of stuff was maybe leaked revealed very early on. Like, going into it, we had rumors suggesting that Cobb Vanth would show up at some point. He popped up in the first episode. There were rumors saying that Katie Sackhoff would reprise her role as Bo-Katan from Clone Wars and Rebels. That happened episode 3. We had rumblings of Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka for years now at this point. And then, it finally happened episode 5. Boba Fett was a big contender to pop up in this series, and then like a couple of weeks before the season started, we had Tamora Morrison's agency list his role as Boba Fett on there. And then, as we got more of these puzzle pieces together, it kind of brought us to where we were with Grogu, and Baby Yoda, is like, he's looking for this Jedi. Like, that's, that is the objective of Din, is he needs to bring Grogu to his people. Bringing him to his people means the Jedi. Now, there are very few Jedi around at this point, and when we saw Ahsoka say, hey, bring him to another Jedi that might be able to train him, then the wheels started spinning, and we're like, okay, we can kind of narrow things down. Who's the most likely candidate? Obviously Luke Skywalker, and then, one thing leads to another, and that's what we got in this episode. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but I think maybe the predictability and the fact that we knew a lot going in doesn't get us as hyped and surprised as we should have been. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the season, because I absolutely loved it. This is probably, in my opinion, better than season 1, and I loved season 1 as well. But yeah, I just think maybe...
I think it's a completely different show from season 1.
Oh yeah, it is totally...
completely, but it's a lot different from season 1.
Oh yeah, like season 1, it was very disconnected from the rest of the greater Star Wars galaxy. And then this season, it sort of expanded a lot more and kind of showed... Like, I don't want to say how small the galaxy can be, but sort of that Din's story... and Din and Grogu's story had a greater purpose within the already existing Star Wars universe, I guess is what you could say.
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and like, that was something that a lot of people had maybe the fear of, that the show would lean too heavily into already established things within Star Wars, but the more we got... the more we had characters that we already knew show up and everything and interact with Din, the more okay I was with it, if that makes any sense, It's like, I was a little skeptical about, if they bring in, Clone Wars and Rebels characters with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka, and then it's like, do we really want to introduce Luke in here, because that has so many implications, and then he came in, and then I was like, okay, I'm fine with this, Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it's something that we didn't really know that we were okay with until it really happened.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I think that's something that, like, I think everybody universally, I think, is perfectly fine with it. I mean, even I'm perfectly fine with it. And I was somebody that was like, I don't want it to be too crazy, but I think that it's fine, because it's not like they're there and they're going to be, they're friends forever. They're really just showing up and just disappearing, really. Yeah,
exactly. And I think also we have to remember too, is that The Mandalorian is run by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, two guys that know a lot about what they're doing. They know how to make content. They know how to make TV. They know how to make movies. They know how to make Star Wars. They know what the fans want. They know exactly where the missteps were with like the sequel trilogy and things that fans haven't liked in recent memory. So they're taking all of that and kind of not doing anything that, we would frown upon, right?
Yeah.
But kind of, bringing in the best of what we've seen in the past with, like, reintroducing Clone Wars and Rebels and original trilogy characters now with Luke. But then also expanding it with brand new storylines, with brand new characters, Din, Grogu, Moff Gideon, bringing the Darksaber lore back into everything. So yeah, I think, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, everybody at Lucasfilm, you gotta give them a big round of applause and a giant thank you for not only the first season, but the second season of The Mandalorian, and now this whole Mandoverse, if we're going to call it that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, of course, nothing would be the same without what they've done. And, I mean, I think that it just really shows how good they are at writing. You know, I think it shows how good they are at actually doing their job. Because none of this, we really wouldn't have gotten any of this without them. You know, any of them, any of the cast and crew, for that matter. And I mean, through all the issues, they still were able to get it out, and they made some of the best Star Wars, literally the best Star Wars content we've had since Disney, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, take any episode of The Mandalorian from either season, even, you know, Snow Planet, Ice Spiders, Frog Lady, better than any of the sequel trilogy that we got by far. So, with that said, let's kind of go through this episode chronologically. It's another shorter episode. It was, you know, kind of in the middle there as far as length goes for this season. It wasn't like a 30-minute episode, but it wasn't also like a 52-minute episode like the first episode of this season. I think it sat somewhere around like 40, 42. So it was kind of like your traditional like 42 minutes with like, you know, the rest of the time would be ads if it was not on streaming. But yeah, so we had the episode just kind of not waste any time. It just jumped right into it. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, did I miss something? Because like, you're just like, the episode starts and Slave One is just shooting, you know, it is shooting at the, what do you call that ship? I forget, like
it's an Imperial transport ship.
Yeah, the Imperial transport ship. Shooting at the Imperial transport that is transporting the cloner, the scientist, Pershing, Dr. Pershing, transporting him. Boba's firing at him. He's like, yeah, we're gonna dock. We're gonna dock. We need something on this ship. So they dock with it. They go in, and we have kind of a nice intense standoff here between Din and the two Imperials that are transporting Pershing, and then Cara Dune comes in too, and then that's when we get kind of some more possible setup for what we're gonna see in that like, what is it called? What's that spin-off
Rangers
called?
of the Republic. Rangers of the New Republic. Yeah,
Rangers of the New Republic. So some more tease for kind of what we could expect in there. He, like, you know, mentions Alderaan again and kind of, you know, and teases her about that and is like, hey, I was on the Death Star. I saw Alderaan blow up. Haha, your planet's gone. And then they're like, no more of that. Shoots the guy. And it actually, if you notice, the bolt kind of like grazed Pershing's ear, and then in later scenes you see it like kind of like have like some scorch marks on it, and I think it's got like a chunk missing or whatever, so that's kind of, you know, nice attention to detail there. But they've got Pershing, they've got the Imperial transport, and then they go on to find the last two members of their team. They go to find Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves on this unnamed kind of like, what kind of planet would you call it? Like a mining planet? I don't even know. Like planet, industrialized planet, right? So it doesn't really matter. Two Mandalorians walk into a bar. You know, I thought that was really cool. Again, just seeing Boba and Mando just being bros is one of my favorite things from the last couple of episodes here. But yeah, so Mando, Boba walk into the bar. They see Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves sitting there, and Mando's like, hey, we need you for this. We need to finish this job. We need you guys. And then Boba says something. I forget what he says specifically, but whatever he says, kind of, oh no, and then Bo-Katan's like, something, maybe we can't help you, whatever, and then Boba's like, we don't need him. And then right when Bo-Katan hears Boba's voice, she's like, oh, ding, 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 this is a clone. I've heard your voice before. And then it just like, the whole back and forth ensues. And I thought that was great. She was like, oh, you don't even, you know, that armor doesn't, oh no, what did she say? Like, you're a disgrace to that armor or whatever. And then Boba's like, oh, it's my father's armor. And he's like, and then Bo-Katan's like, your father? You mean your donor? And like, just like the back and forth there was great. And like, the best comeback was like, Bo-Katan was like, oh, I've heard your voice thousands of times, and then Boba's like, it'll be the last one you ever hear. That was great. But so small little bar fight scuffle between Boba and Casca Reeves, and then they're like, all right, let's stop fighting each other, let's go get this mission done, go find Gideon. Under one condition, Din leaves Gideon to Bo-Katan, because obviously she's still after the Darksaber, to reclaim her rightful spot with that as the leader of Mandalore. But so they make their plan to go in to infiltrate Gideon's ship. They're gonna do kind of like a little fake fight. They come out of hyperspace. We've got Boba in Slave One kind of like shooting at them in the Imperial transport ship to allow them to get onto Gideon's ship. Once they get on, Boba takes out the TIE fighters that they send out and just zoop, goes away, and we don't see him until the very end after this. So that's kind of interesting, actually, that we didn't get to see too much Boba Fett during the big chunk of the episode, but it's for a good reason. It is for a good reason. But so yeah, we're on Gideon's ship now. The plan is split up. So the teams are Din by himself going to find Grogu, and then we have a really, really good team up here with Bo-Katan, Casca Reeves, Fennec, and Cara Dune. They're just wrecking house, just cleaning up all the stormtroopers on their way to the bridge, just taking over the entire ship. That was one of the, it was like a full-on like 5-minute just like them just tearing through everybody, which was great. Well-oiled team. I thought it was kind of funny when Cara Dune's giant like light machine gun blaster kind of jammed and she was fixing it in the elevator, gets it ready, and then they just keep going. That was pretty great. That was a great scene in this episode. And it was kind of like their version of just like all the super powerful female characters together, just cleaning house, and I loved that. But while they're off doing their thing, Din is kind of sneaking through the ship, trying to find Grogu, and then he stumbles into the Dark Troopers. Tries to shut them out. One gets through, and then we get a pretty awesome fight between Din and the Dark Trooper, and then that kind of shows you how powerful those things are. Is like Din has some real trouble against just one of them, and there's a room full of them, and they've got all their like dubstep music in there as well. I think it was pretty funny is in, if you saw Star Wars Theory's breakdown of the episode, he like made a funny Skrillex joke. He was like, if you look in the background, you can see Skrillex right there. I was like, I thought that was pretty great. Shout out to Star Wars Theory, one of the best in the business. But, so Din fights the one Dark Trooper. He's like smashing him into the wall, banging into his helmet, and I'm like, dude, your head must hurt like crazy. But eventually Din's able to get over to the Beskar spear, stab it through the head, take care of that one, and then flush the rest out the airlock, but they will return in a bit. So after that, Din goes to get Grogu. He sees Grogu in the cell. Moff Gideon has him, and then they have this very interesting conversation. Now, some people are talking deep about this, some kind of just like skim over it. I think it was very interesting here, the conversation that the two of them had. What did you think? Because there's like a lot of kind of like moral stuff brought up. And I'm not sure how much Gideon really believed what he said, but it was an interesting conversation.
Was basically just playing around with them.
Yeah.
I think that's just like I think that's a main characteristic, and I think we could see that a lot in this episode. Is just that Moff Gideon likes to play with people. He likes to toy with people's emotions, and he likes to get inside people's heads.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, and I'm bringing it up before it even happens, but later in the episode, when they capture him, of course, and when he's basically talking to Bo-Katan, I think that a lot of people are saying that it's a retcon that she doesn't just take the Darksaber, but I mean, I think that maybe it's because the fact that before she didn't earn it, technically. Yeah. And now it's kind of like he's like, oh, you didn't earn it, and it's kind of getting in her head, and she's kind of like, I mean, is it okay to take it? Is it not? And I think that's more of what she's contemplating in her head, and I don't really think that she's contemplating killing him. I mean, maybe she is. Maybe she's contemplating fighting.
No, I think it's totally an honor thing, and just skipping. We'll come back to the chronological thing, but just skipping ahead to this, I think it's a lot of what Gideon said. It's not about the saber itself. The saber is a symbol. The symbol of the story of how the wielder got the saber, right? So I think, and a lot of people obviously bring up the fact that in Rebels, Sabine just handed the saber over to Bo-Katan. Now, and obviously now she won't just take it from Din, but I think that there are two completely different circumstances, because if you remember back to how Sabine got the saber in Rebels, like, what was it? Ezra found it in Maul's place on Dathomir.
Hey, look at this.
Swiped the Darksaber, brought it, and was like, hey, I found this cool lightsaber thing. And then I don't know if Sabine knew about the lore of it or what. Yeah, she knew a little.
She knew a little bit about it.
So she knew a little bit about it, and then they were like, okay, hey, this is like a Mandalorian thing. Take it, Sabine. You're a Mandalorian, right? So, she's got the saber. She's training with it for a little bit, and then we get more of the Mandalorians coming in. That's when we get Bo-Katan coming back in and everything. And then basically what it is Maul is gone. Sabine has the Darksaber, but she doesn't feel like she can rule Mandalore. She doesn't want to unite the people or whatever, so she hands it over to Bo-Katan, saying, hey, you're more deserving of this than I am. You take it. And I think that was okay in that regard, because nobody really owned the Darksaber at that point. Like, Maul had it, but he wasn't actively ruling over Mandalore. He had it, and he kind of illegitimately had it. Like, yes, he beat Pre Vizsla in Trial by Combat and everything like that, but technically, Sidious then beat Maul. Remember when he killed Savage Opress, and then stuff happened. We were supposed to get an entire other Clone Wars arc, but long story short, then he had it again. In season 7, did he even have it again? Yeah. No, he didn't even have it. He didn't. Yeah, so he didn't even have it in season 7.
Or at least he didn't want to use it in season 7. Whatever he was doing.
So basically, after he had lost to Palpatine, then he stopped using it basically afterwards, and it was just kind of a relic. So basically, they just kind of found the relic, the Darksaber. And there wasn't any combat that needed to happen. It was just, it didn't have an owner, and it needed somebody to bring it up. And I think probably what happened is then Moff Gideon comes in at some point down the line, beats Bo-Katan in a trial by combat, fair and square takes it, has it. Now Bo-Katan obviously wants to rematch, fight him again to get the Darksaber back, and then now that Din has beat Moff Gideon fair and square, in a duel trial by combat, he has it. There's no way for her to morally take the Darksaber for herself, because obviously she hasn't earned it,
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, and I was telling you this after the episode, is I feel like Moff Gideon wanted to lose. I don't feel like Moff Gideon really cared about winning that fight. Because at this point, and he says it when they're in the little scene with Grogu in the jail, is he's basically just like, okay, I basically have gotten done what I need to get done. I've went ahead. I've gotten Grogu's blood, and basically he's like, I've done my mission. I've done my part. And I mean, you see it later in the episode again as well, when he's okay with committing suicide after he, has a failed attempt on Bo-Katan's life.
Yeah.
And, it's just kind of like, well, like he honestly is just, again, playing with them. He doesn't really care. He's just kind of doing whatever, He's just kind of doing whatever he really wants.
I agree with you to an extent. You continue what you're saying, but I
was just saying that, I don't feel like he really has any real purpose with the blood or anything anymore. I just feel like he's just kind of just messing around, really.
Okay.
And just like, maybe he's trying to start some fighting inside, whatever this, not exactly rebellion, but inside like this little small group of people. Maybe he's like, oh, if I tell him, you gotta kill him now, basically, they might actually try to kill each other, who knows?
Well, I think I don't think he 100% intended to lose to Din off the bat. Like, he wanted to win, and he thought the only way to beat Din was to kind of coax him into letting his guard down and then attack him when he's not
but
ready.
The thing is, he knows everything, and he said that he knows everything.
Right.
So shouldn't he understand that that what's it called, the Beskar? You can't just cut into Beskar, and it's not just gonna.
That's true.
And also the other thing is, if he knows everything, why is he just slashing at him? He should know that the only way to cut through Beskar is not to slash it, but just stab right through it.
That's a good point. That's
also
true.
If he really wanted to, he could have taken the time to been like, oh, he's just like trying to pick up Grogu. And he literally had a whole time just like look at like the Darksaber and like turn it on and just start slicing.
Oh yeah,
he could have just angled it towards an open slit in the guy's armor, push the button, and it would just stab straight through him.
That's true. Okay, so I'll go with what you're saying, is that he, at that point, he kind of knew that when they had killed everybody on there and the Dark Troopers were gone at that point, he kind of realized, okay, basically my only way out of this is to mess with them, let Din beat me in a trial by combat, let him take up the Darksaber, and hope that causes conflict between Din and Bo-Katan to cause enough commotion for him to get away.
I think that the main thing is he didn't care if he lived or died in that little battle that they had, but I think the main thing is that he just wants to. I think that he wanted Din to get the Darksaber because he wanted issues to occur on Mandalore and all that. I don't really think that he cares about it. I think that he just is just trying to have fun and just
right. But then also, I guess something that kind of goes against that too is when the Dark Troopers come back, and then he's like, "Oh, well, when the dust settles, all that'll be left. You'll all be dead, and all that'll be left is me and the child."
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that kind of goes against that as well.
Couldn't he just at this point, if he really wanted to cause serious issues with Mandalore as well, couldn't he just grab the Darksaber and just eat it out a window, into a sun? Just say, haha, sucks to suck. No Darksaber for anybody.
I don't know. So it'll be interesting because I think that there's so much potential with Gideon. And especially with him being played by Giancarlo Esposito, I think that there's
I don't think that it's the it for me,
I think that this is just, again, kind of just the beginning for his character as well. There's so much that we don't know about his backstory, how he got the Darksaber from Bo-Katan. And then obviously he has some sort of play. Obviously he has some sort of reason why he wanted Grogu's blood. Obviously for the high M count, but what is he doing with it? We already know that these, some people thought originally maybe it was for the Dark Troopers, but no, this is already Phase 3 Dark Troopers. They're no human component at all, 100% machine. So is this, again, we can tie this back into, is this for, creating Snoke? Is this reviving Palpatine? Is this giving himself force sensitivity? Is this creating a force sensitive army?
I think I said this again before. If it's for him, if he cares so much about giving himself force powers, why would he be willing to kill himself? That just makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true too. So
he's why would he care to do that? Again, I just feel like the only reason why he would think about doing that is, again, because he feels like he's okay with whatever's going on with the Empire or whoever. I feel like he has kind of like a feeling like he's done with that and he's done his mission, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one for sure. But so going back to that scene though, we've got Gideon holding Grogu at Darksaber point. They have a little exchange back and forth. He's like you said, I know everything. You don't have any more of your wrist rockets. All your people just killed all my people. You want the child. You have a strong bond with him. Take him. He catches him off guard. The fight ensues. We get the Beskar spear versus Darksaber fight. We see that the Darksaber is actually causing the spear to kind of heat up a little bit as they're clashing. Something interesting to think about here is like, if it was heated up too much, would the spear have broken, or is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Bo-Katan said something in the bar that was kind of stupid. Is that she said that, like, basically she said like lightsabers can't damage Beskar, like pure Beskar. But I mean, I think that that's completely wrong, because I mean, at least how we've seen it before, it's possible to go through it.
Yeah,
and it seems like it's very possible. I feel like it's a lot harder to go through Beskar.
Oh yeah. It definitely,
of course, there's a reason
it.
why, you know, Mandalorians use Beskar against Jedi and Sith. Well, Jedi and Sith, but just Jedi in general.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that if we go by like the logic of how things are, I guess you could say, supposed to be, is a stab wound will actually, like, you know, deal some damage, and it'll actually go through, and it's because just like the certain force of it. But like, it's just like a slash doesn't really do much. And the same for like heating it up and everything. Like if it's on there for a certain amount of time, I bet it'll
Or could it? The other interesting thing though is, you know, you heat different metals to strengthen them.
Yeah.
By heating the Beskar spear with the Darksaber, does that strengthen the spear for later use?
It looked like it was heating through. It looked like it looked like it was at the point of where it would, you know, like it looked like at the point of like bending metal level.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was strengthening it. It looked more like if it was held on here for too long, it would just melt through. Yeah, so Din gets the Darksaber away from Gideon, gets him on the ground, and he's like, hey, I beat you. You're done, kid. So
you're trash, Brock.
You're trash, Brock. Yeah, so he beats Gideon in trial by combat, like we said, and he walks onto the bridge. He's got Grogu in one hand, Darksaber in the other hand, pushing Moff Gideon in, and like, it reminds me of the fan art that I used actually for a very early Legion Lounge stream that had actually Din with the Darksaber and like Grogu on his shoulder. Before we knew it was Grogu, it was Baby Yoda. But anyway, you know, like that imagery there of Din with the Darksaber was something that I think we've been building to for a while, something that a lot of people have wanted to see happen. I'm very excited to see where that goes, and I think that again adds a lot more validity to the theory that, you know, he could be the next Mandalore, you know?
Yeah, that's what I really do think myself. I think that because especially at the end of this episode, it's not finished up, it's not cleared up what exactly happened. Right. But I don't think that Bo-Katan's gonna fight him for it. I don't think that she really is gonna do anything. No. I think she's just gonna have to accept that he's the one with it. And I think more than anything, I think that she's gonna want to teach him how to use it properly and how to do this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah, I think next season Din is going to be getting. He's got to go to Mandalorian history class next season.
Yeah, and he's got to do a whole bunch, you know?
Yeah.
And the other question is also, and this is, I mean, I think that now we can talk like just all Mandalorian talk before we get into Grogu stuff. But
yeah,
with him getting the Darksaber, of course, he has to learn how to use it.
Right.
He has to learn how to use a lightsaber, basically. He has to learn how to lead Mandalore. And more importantly, he has to learn how to, I guess you could say, he has to learn how to accept that kind of new lifestyle, because I mean, when he was talking to Bo-Katan before in the bar, again, I keep on bringing up the 4 Mandalorians in a bar, but one of the things that she said is not all Mandalorians are bounty hunters. Some of us have a higher purpose.
Yes.
And I think that he is one of those Mandalorians with that higher purpose. And I think that he's going to deny the whole I am not Mandalore, I can't be Mandalore the Great or whatever. He's basically also going to be like, I'm just a foundling, probably, you know? But the thing is, he's actually more Mandalorian than a lot of Mandalorians. You know, he sticks by the creed, you know, sometimes even a little too much, but he tries to stay as close to it as possible. He's a great warrior. And, you know, he will put his life on the line for, you know, his people being like, you know, Grogu, Cara Dune, you know, all of those people.
Right.
He puts his life on the line. For those
I totally agree with that. And that almost kind of brings it back to everybody's favorite episode, the Frog Lady episode. And remember where he was like, or when he was like, oh, we're going to stay here. Okay.
Yeah, I've got to go do something really quick.
Okay, so no, you're good. So I'll keep explaining it. But so back to the Frog Lady episode, right? So we had Din kind of like, oh, well, I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to, you know, fulfill this mission here. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to bring you to where you're supposed to be. He was kind of down and out. He was kind of defeated at that point. But then when Frog Lady kind of woke him up and was talking through the droid on the ship, she was like, hey, you're a Mandalorian. You're a person of honor. I thought that meant something. I thought that, you know, being a Mandalorian meant something more. I thought it meant keeping your word. I thought it meant, you know, that you stuck to what you said that you were going to do. And I think that at that point, he didn't fully embody a Mandalorian. He just looked like a Mandalorian. And he hunted, and he was a bounty hunter. But then going to what you said, from that bar scene, Bo-Katan was like, some of us have a higher purpose. I think you're right. I think Din now realizes he's going to have to realize at least that he has that higher purpose. His whole mission this season was bring Grogu to his people. Mission accomplished. Now he's got to figure out.
There also is, again, that's also a big part about being a Mandalorian is, you know, completing your mission and all that.
Right, and his mission is complete. Now he's got to find. And that wasn't even like a him.
Also, you got to think about
like that was
about the serious loss of it, like the serious like heartfelt loss at the end of the day that he experienced with that. And the thing is, he accepted it, you know, and that's a big character moment. I think
Din did a lot of development this season. He did a lot of growing.
And I mean, also, I think, like he took off his helmet twice.
I know. Well, this brings it back.
He's not going to kill these people this time.
No, exactly. So this brings it back to what we were saying at the beginning of the season. We were like, yeah, we think that this is going to be, you know, Din goes on this intergalactic journey with Baby Yoda, and he's going to learn what it truly means to be a Mandalorian. He's going to learn that it means more than just this is the way, keeping your helmet on all the time and hunting bounties.
That maybe even Bo-Katan might see that Din, she might even see Din as more worthy of being the leader of Mandalore than
right.
You know,
and
herself.
I think
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying is I think that we've seen Din kind of exemplify all the pillars of being a Mandalorian this season. Like he has done things as a great warrior. He slayed the Krayt Dragon. He kept his word. He fulfilled his promise. He put his life on the line and sacrificed the creed by taking off his helmet a couple times to ensure Grogu's safety. You know, he beat Moff Gideon in trial by combat. He now has the Darksaber. He now has that status symbol. He now has the story to tell to go along with it.
Here's the other thing, though. You have to think, he is not just like he's become a very great warrior in like the last 2 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, from the first season to the second season.
Yeah, he couldn't even beat the Mudhorn all on his own.
No, he couldn't. He could barely kill a Mudhorn, and now I was kind of telling you this last season, wasn't I? Where I was like, yo, you know, Din is cool and all, but like he's getting his butt whooped a whole bunch.
And like we saw when Bo-Katan and all of them came in, we were like, oh, they're pretty dope. When Boba Fett was able to unleash on people in chapter 6, we were like, oh, he's even cooler than Din. But by the end of the season, Din really came into his own. I think. You know, there was so much, like, I know I keep saying this, but he got so much development, and that is...
Yeah.
That's all you can really ask for in a show like this, is you want your main character to grow and change. This is what they teach you about storytelling in school. Like, you have to have a good character arc.
But it's not even just that. It's like, it's the same thing. I'm gonna be continuing, you know, what we were talking about with Grogu, right? You know, they're on the ship. They're all up in that up in the bridge, right? You know, everybody's breaking in, of course. You know, Luke Skywalker flies in. Whoa, one X-wing. You know, yada yada.
One X-wing, we're saved.
Does the cool Darth Vader hallway scene, kills a whole bunch of, well, not kills, but just destroys a whole bunch of robots, basically, a whole bunch of Dark Troopers. Moff Gideon's like, oh no, tries to shoot, you know, I was about to say Cardoon, tries to shoot Bo-Katan, gets clapped in the face, tries to kill himself as well, doesn't work, gets hit in the face by Cara Dune, and of course Luke Skywalker comes in, but also something that a lot of people are bringing up is like Luke Skywalker goes ham on the robots because he can, of course. But I don't think that this is like god tier Luke yet. I think this is like I think this is like master level Luke, but I don't think this is like grand master. Like I don't think it's like master Yoda level.
Yeah. So here, before we continue, let me just say the one thing that everybody is kind of bringing up about that Luke scene, right? I 100% thought that was just like peak Luke Skywalker, like that is Luke Skywalker. And you know, I wasn't like, and like a lot of people that were, you know, brought to tears by how beautiful and poetic this scene was, because Luke was their childhood hero. He was like their embodiment of what a hero should be, right? Luke was never that for me. I love Luke. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Luke. I love the original trilogy and everything like that. But obviously, you and I, we were more prequel kids, right? We grew up on... We watched everything in order.
Also, I feel like with the prequels as well, like we could kind of see that like Anakin as well wasn't really a good guy. But I mean, that's different. Because, I mean, Anakin, we kind of realized at the point is like he couldn't always be our favorite hero, and he's not the best hero because he's not a hero really.
No, exactly. But like
he kills people for no reason.
No, but I think though is I think that this was a great showing of Luke and his skills and everything, and I appreciated it so much. Like, and again, like he's not my favorite Jedi, he's not my favorite Star Wars character. That would go to Anakin and Vader, and you know, but Obi-Wan. I still Obi-Wan and everybody, like, but I still loved the scene, and I understand 100% what this meant to everybody, and it means a lot to me too to see Luke like at this power level. Like, I was talking about this a couple of times. I remember back when we were much younger, when this probably wasn't like the first time we watched through the movies, but a time that we watched through the movies. I remember finishing episode 6 and sitting down and be like, whoa, I wonder what happened to Luke after Return of the Jedi, right? And like we went online, you know, rudimentary Wikipedia and everything. We see like, oh, Luke
rudimentary internet period.
No, like we see like, oh, Luke lived to be 120 years old and a Grand Master Jedi, and he created his own Jedi Order, and he learned how to do Force lightning and stuff like that. Like, that was the kind of like legendary Luke Skywalker that we had heard about. You just
hear stories about,
right, that you had heard about.
We didn't really read the comics. We didn't really know what the heck
like
we
didn't know that much about Legends at that point. Like, that was all just stories, and then like
the reason Legends back then.
Right, it was canon back then, and then like, you know, that's why we liked the prequels so much too, is because we actually got to see all, like, pretty much all the crazy stories that we heard that Luke did at one point or another. We got to see Anakin actually do them, not only in the prequels but also in Clone Wars and everything, you know. But yeah, I think that this was the Luke scene that everybody has been waiting for. And again, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Like you said, it's very similar to the Vader hallway scene. It's very similar to a lot of the things that we've seen Anakin do as well, like just the fighting style and everything. And I think it was a very good choice to go with Luke fighting Dark Troopers here rather than him just mowing down Stormtroopers, because it kind of brings back to the thing that Moff Gideon was saying, that like, oh, I know Bo-Katan, Fennec, all them, they just savagely murdered all these dudes in here. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of true. But Luke came in. We know he's at a point in his life, right? Like, this is post Return of the Jedi. This is post him throwing away the lightsaber. I will not fight you, father. You know, like, he is a keeper. He's a keeper of the peace, not a soldier, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that was great to get to see him go crazy on robots, you know? It is like, just let him do his thing, because they're robots.
Another thing that I actually kind of thought was interesting is, going back to like a previous point in the episode, is when they're talking about like Alderaan and the Death Stars and stuff, is, you know, they're not wrong about the amount of civilians that died on the Death Stars, though, you know? Both of them, I mean, you know, especially the second one, there's just a whole bunch of workers on there, and like most of them just died in the explosion. That's kind of sad.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like with Dr. Pershing, right? It's like he's working for the Empire, but is he a bad guy? No. When push comes to shove,
also that's the same thing for anybody in the Empire, you know?
Right. Is like he helped them find Grogu. Like, remember last season when Din went to go get him back? Yeah. Pershing was like, "Don't hurt him. He's just a child." Like, you know, there's some good guys in there. There's some.
No, but I mean, I'm not even just talking about that. I'm just talking about like normal like civilians. I mean, of course, you know, just like normal people, just like working on like, you know, oh, hey, you know, how's it going, Joe? I'm working on this this piece of the Death Star right here today. Oh, what's that? See the next one. Everybody dies.
Stormtrooper.
I'm not gonna go see my family day. Yeah, Stormtrooper.
My lord.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I think that it really shows that, you know, no matter what, there's no real like moral high ground really in these, you know. It's just they, like, you know, no matter what side you look at, you know, they really just, it's just a lot of casualties of war, you know. They just like just killing guys left and right, you know.
Yeah,
basically planets full of people. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but like it's millions of people that died on the Death Star.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
Yeah. That's
crazy.
It is, but we get to see, like I said, we get to see the Luke scene that everybody was waiting for, and I thought it was also very interesting, something that I didn't really pick up the first time that I watched through, but the music in that scene, it's not like, you know, it's not your traditional, like, Duel of the Fates or anything crazy, like, super intense, but it was more of, like, a slower, methodical, kind of, like, triumphant music. Like, it wasn't so much like, you know, it was a nice contrast to like the dubsteppy, Skrillexy music that the Dark Troopers had, and that you got in the earlier fight scenes with like Din and the Dark Trooper and Moff Gideon and everything. But this was more, like I said, a slower, methodical, like kind of an, you can be at peace now because Luke Skywalker is here, the Keeper of the Peace has arrived, the Jedi is here, everything is going to be okay. It wasn't about like, will he be able to take out all the Dark Troopers? It was more of just like kind of this nice slow dance of him just literally slicing through them like butter and just kind of casually making his way through, stepping into the elevator, going up and like, you know, just taking out the last few of them and just sitting there waiting at the door for them to let him in when, you know, he could just definitely use the Force to open the door by himself. But, you know, Luke's a nice, polite guy. He'll wait to be buzzed in.
Also, one thing I do think that was very interesting, and this is, I guess, continuing, you know, what happened in the episode. But when, and this is basically the end of the episode, but, you know, Luke gets inside, yada, yada, and he's like, I'm here to take Grogu, basically. It's like, okay, go ahead and take him, sadly, you know, oh, sorry, goodbye, Grogu. You gotta go. Takes off helmet, Mando. Ah, you're a human being, or whatever, you're not a Gungan, yada, yada. And Grogu's like, I don't want to go. And then he sees R2-D2, which I think is actually really cool. Because, I mean, of course, Grogu probably knew R2-D2. And he's like, oh, R2, you're here as well. I don't know if R2, you know, remembers. I forget exactly, you know, who got their... I know that at least C-3PO got his mind wiped, but...
Yeah, no, R2 never got his... No, never.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Because R2 is the lucky
that's
one.
exactly what I thought. Yeah. And so R2 is probably like, oh, look, it's Grogu, you know? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he takes them and then they leave. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. So.
Wait, then you wait a little bit. I was waiting for some concept art. And all you see is Jabba's palace. Walks in Fennec, kills a whole bunch of people, frees some slave, Twi'lek, and then Boba Fett, the only, walks down, and he's like saying nothing. He's looking like a total boss, right? Comes up in there before tuna. Boba Fett, I thought you were dead. They said you were dead. Shoots him in the face. My throne now. King Boba Fett. New series, The Book of Boba Fett, coming in December 2021.
Jabba's Palace 2, well. Boba Fett Boogaloo.
Yeah, but what were you gonna say before that?
Okay, so yeah, I'll go through my little recounts of this final bit. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. So Luke is at the door. They're like, "Oh, don't let him in." Din's like, "We gotta let him in." They let him in. And he walks through the smoke. You've got the the green lightsaber there in his hand. We knew it was Luke the entire time, obviously. Like, you got more and more clues as he came in. The X-Wing, and then you saw the black glove hand, and then you saw the green lightsaber, and you saw the hilt and everything. Like, you kind of knew it was Luke. He comes in, he, turns off his lightsaber, puts it away, takes off the hood to reveal a digitally de-aged / deep faked Mark Hamill, which didn't look incredible. It looked good for a TV budget. It looks better on a smaller screen. I watched it the first time on a normal sized TV. The second time on my computer monitor, it looked a lot better the second time when I was watching it on my computer monitor. But that was something I had a pretty big issue with the first time I watched it. Then the more I saw screenshots and the scene and rewatched the episode, I became more and more okay with it. I need to let that go. That can't ruin the scene for me, and it didn't. I think it was, they did the best they could with what they had. It was either recast or do the digital de-aging, and there's only so much they can do on a television budget, and it can only get better, So yeah. I'm okay with it. But we have
spent all that money on the Crate Dragon.
Yeah, they spent their entire budget on the Crate Dragon. That's what happened.
Star Wars Theory just posted a video of him doing a deep fake with Luke Skywalker's face on. Looks better than the whole episode.
Wait, really?
No, it doesn't look better than the episode, but it's
Wait, he actually posted it?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Oh,
so you should
okay. I'll have to.
Point.
Okay, yeah, I just saw it pop up. I'll have to take.
It's on his Instagram.
I'll have to take a look at that. Collider also did a really good one, like a year or two ago, with like fake George Lucas watching like the Episode 9 trailer and stuff like that. That was amazing.
What is this Star Wars?
I was like, oh, I should have never sold it to Disney.
And then Boss Logic just posted a hyped out rock-looking, like the rock-looking Grogu.
Oh,
so
that's cool. Anyway, so
I realized something though. Actually, I'm cutting you off, but people don't call Grogu anymore. I swear.
No, they just keep calling him Baby Yoda. I try to call him Grogu. Like, I call him by his name.
Yeah.
Like, he has.
They didn't even call him that during his. Like, I don't think that. This
no,
whole
they
episode,
they didn't say Grogu the entire episode. They said the child or kid.
Yeah.
A kid.
Should have said his name before I left.
Hey kid. Still looking at your hair, we got a problem.
Hey kid, the audience is looking at your hair, we're having a problem, or whatever that.
Hey kid, it's not that kind of movie.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I just completely cut you off.
You're fine. So Luke comes in, he takes the hood off, and he basically, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he's like, pretty much, he's here for Grogu. And then, but Grogu's like kind of hiding in the chair. He's like kind of looking over, and then Din's like, I don't think he wants to go with you. And what are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing at anything. I'm coughing because I smelled my water. And I think it's just like because I think I've had this water in my room for so long. It doesn't smell too hot. I can just tell you that. So
okay.
Yeah, nobody needs to know that, but I mean it's US, so
Okay. I thought I said something stupid. Anyway.
No.
So
change out this water though.
Okay, so
That's a
anyway.
key reminder, guys. Change out your water bottles every once in a while.
Anyway, Luke's like he basically is like he wants your permission to go with me. Like he wants you to let him know that it's okay if he goes, right? But Luke's not being pushy here, right? That's the important thing to remember is he's not like, all right, I'm here for the trial, give him to me, I gotta go train him, bye. Like he's like, hey, I sense that he is very powerful in the Force. I he's powerful, but without training, he, can't. You're nothing without the training. He needs the training. He's very powerful, but he needs the permission from you to go with me, right? So Din picks up Grogu. He looks at him for the last time. He's like, kid, you gotta go with him. It's what you're meant to do. I promise I will see you again. And then this is the scene that I literally teared up at this scene and started, like, not full on crying, but like, the waterworks were starting, right? Because, for whatever reason, I've decided that I'm a sensitive person in the last few years. And I will like cry at TV shows and movies now. But, I started tearing up at this scene because like, Baby Yoda reaches up towards Mando's face and he just takes, like, just so casually, like, not even a second thought about it, just takes the helmet off in front of everybody, puts it to the side, and it's kind of like it's perfect that Luke is there, and again, it's poetry, it rhymes. Let me look upon you with my own eyes. He takes off the helmet and he sees Grogu for the first time without the helmet on. Grogu sees Din for the first time without the helmet on. Grogu reaches his little hand up, touches his face. It's so sad. You can see it in Din's face. Pedro Pascal did an amazing job in this scene. He's done a really good job this entire season, and especially when he gets to take the helmet off, you can really see that emotion. And I know a lot of people were talking about it last week too, with the fact that the mannerisms that he had when he didn't have the helmet on, he acted like somebody who had worn a helmet for his entire life. He was very stiff and wasn't like, it's like he really paid attention to those details, and I think he did a great job in this one too. It's like you could see the emotion in his eyes. Like he was so broken up about having to let Grogu go, but he knew it was for the best. And like, even though he had never met this Jedi, he had never met Luke, he didn't even know his name. Luke didn't even say his name the entire time. All Din said was, "Are you a Jedi?" And just Luke, just so casually and in the way that Luke would, he's like, "I am." Just reassuring,
Mm-hmm.
So he puts...
I think it's kind of sad though, if you think about this scene again. But if you think about it, let's say like Din never took off his helmet, right? If you think about it like that, he probably would still be crying under the helmet. I think that's kind of sad to think about.
Oh yeah.
And I think times he's probably cried under the helmet. I think that's also kind of sad.
For all the people that were like, "Oh, Mando didn't show enough emotion when Grogu was taken," imagine Pedro Pascal's face as it is in this episode. Mm-hmm. And he is bawling about 10 times more under that helmet, probably, in that scene. But anyway, so he
mix of anger and sadness,
yeah. So he puts Grogu down, and Grogu's still holding onto his leg. He's like, "Dad, I don't want to go." It's like,
oh, one thing I wanted to say, he never got his ball back.
Well, but think about this. I was watching or listening to, while I was playing, just grinding the Avengers game, I was listening to Star Wars Explained talk about the episode, and he was like, well, what if, remember the necklace that Din had that he gave to Grogu last season?
Mm-hmm.
Grogu probably still has that necklace. Din has the little ball now, so they both have a piece of each other. I think that's kind of that's a good thought.
What if Din is able to like hear Grogu? Because like Grogu sometimes, like, what if he talks to him in his like through like the Force or something? Maybe like the objects are kind of connected in that way. Like every time
That would be cool. But
I
anyways,
don't think that Din's gonna like let go of the ball. I think he's gonna keep it on him forever.
oh yeah, he's gonna definitely keep that for sure.
Yeah.
But so he puts him down. Grogu's still holding onto his leg. He's like, I don't want to go. But then the most surprising part of the entire season, in my opinion, though, was when R2 just came out from the back. And it was like, I wonder what R2 was thinking his entire time, just like rolling through there. He's like, wow, Luke, you just destroyed these other robots. You know, it's like kind of brings back memories of your dad. Kind of brings back memories of Anakin, you know, just like tearing through people. But so R2 comes in and he looks over and Grogu sees R2 and like immediately he's a lot more, you know, okay with it. So he walks over there, he sees R2. R2's all excited. He does his little like happy beeps and, you know, shaking around and everything. And then Grogu's like, all right, it's time. He puts his hands up for Luke to pick him up, and only then, when he basically fully submits and he's like, all right, I'm ready to go with you, then Luke picks him up. He's got Grogu, he looks at him, he smiles, he looks back at Din, still with his helmet off. Luke says, may the Force be with you. Turns around, he, Grogu, and R2 go to the elevator. Din's sad, looks on at them. You see them in the elevator about to leave, and then it just shuts. That's the end. That's the end of this chapter right here. And I thought it was also very interesting in that scene, though, when you see Din kind of looking at Grogu leaving with Luke and everything. Din is the only Mandalorian in that scene with his helmet off.
I think that's also kind of interesting.
Yeah, both Bo-Katan and Casca still had their helmets on, which was kind
of also like the not exactly like the memes, but the post going around about what's his name, about Qui-Gon when he was talking to Anakin. He was like, "Oh, don't look back."
Yeah. There's a lot of parallels to when Anakin left with Qui-Gon, to now with Grogu leaving with Luke. So
what if that doesn't mean that he's gonna die?
No, but
he's
like,
not gonna like shmee by some, you know.
No, I mean, it was a sad scene, man. It was really sad, but like, it was the right ending. Like, as many things as we speculated on, like, oh, we would have wanted it to be Mace or Cal Kestis or whatever. It was right for it to be.
I don't think any one of us was asking for Cal Kestis.
Not any of us, but you know, some people were. But you know, it was the right call to go with Luke. I think in the end, while I might not be the biggest fan of the CGI, it was the right call to do the digital de-aging because you got Mark Hamill's voice back. It was great to see him in the credits for the episode. You know, he was having fun talking about the episode online. He was like, anybody see anything good on TV last night and stuff? Like, that was great. You know.
Not your face. Oh. Just kidding.
Oh,
I didn't really care that much about it.
Yeah. Like, more rewatches, you're not going to care. Like, it looks a little Uncanny Valley, a little PS2 graphics. Like, it's not great when he's talking. Like, it's a little like...
The other thing is, if you're watching on, like, a small screen, how much are you really, like, seeing of
like,
that? You know?
A lot of people, I'm sure, watch this on their phones. So, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But yes.
But what do you think? Where do you think that this is going to lead for like the future of the Mandalorian, like as in like the show?
Okay, so I think as far as Din's story goes, like we said earlier, it is going to be
that.
Yeah, it's going to be big with him
like
in the dark. Right,
that.
he could be the next, you know, Mandalore, World of Mandalore. He's got the Darksaber, whatever. He's got to learn a lot about.
It's called Mandalore. I don't know why.
Yeah. Like, it's, what is it? It's like Mandalore with like an apostrophe. Yeah. It's like man apostrophe Delore, whatever. Doesn't matter. He might be the next ruler of Mandalore because he's got the Darksaber. He'll probably learn a lot of history from Bo-Katan. There could be some tension there with maybe she wants the Darksaber, maybe she will kind of come to accept Din as the new ruler.
Oh, speaking of that, have you seen that some people are trying to ship Din and Bo-Katan? It's funny. How old is she supposed to even be in this? Because
Bo-Katan?
because I mean, you got to think during the Clone Wars, Din was just like a kid.
Yeah, I think Bo-Katan's supposed to be 40s, 50s, maybe.
And how isn't Din also supposed to be like 40 or 50?
I think they're all like in their 40s or 50s. Like they all are a lot older than they look. Like I think the actress that plays Fennec is like in her 50s or something. Somehow. Like they all look like 10 to 20 years younger than they really are.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just I guess movie magic.
No, I think they all just take good. I think they all just take good care of themselves. They just didn't go to the Obi-Wan school of aging 40 years and 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, I think that's kind of the thing there. But yeah, so I think that also for the New Republic spinoff, possibly. I wonder though, will Gideon go to that New Republic show? Will he not be
he could be like Ricardo Diaz.
Right, will he not?
Yeah, Richard Dragon.
Yeah, will he not?
I'm just saying.
Will he not be a player in The Mandalorian going forward, but he will obviously still be in this universe because Cara Dune's got to take him back to the New Republic, right? So that would be interesting to see as well. And then
that, he might break out of jail and
right, that's true too. I think obviously that is not the last we've seen of him, especially because it's.
But I think for the future, I know I'm cutting you off, but I think for the future of The Mandalorian, like the show, I feel like there's going to be a new villain coming soon.
Oh yeah,
I think it's going to be whoever's in control of Mandalore at the time.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Thrawn because that's for the Ahsoka series. I think Gideon could go to the Resistance
Rangers,
Republic series, whatever, and then somebody new for.
Yeah.
What if they bring back the Armorer as a antagonist? Because she is part of the Death Watch Mandalorian cult, technically now, and all the old way.
I think it's going to be more Imperial than that.
Yeah, but I do think that we will see the Armorer next season because it was interesting that we didn't see her at all this season, especially with all of her voiceover and stuff from last season in the trailers for this season and everything. I thought that was kind of interesting that we never actually ended up seeing her at any point. But possibly next season. But as far as the Grogu and Luke of it all, I think Grogu's going to be going to train with Luke off on his own. This will be all off-screen stuff. I don't think we'll see a lot of it. I don't think we'll see much of Luke going forward, at least on The Mandalorian. Who knows, maybe they could do a Luke spin-off show at some point where he's training more Jedi in between 6 and 7 before Ben Solo goes and screws everything up. And I'm also, a lot of people are worried that Grogu is going with Luke. Obviously he's in good hands. Like, that's why Din hands him off, is if you're going to give your little green baby to anybody, give him to Luke Skywalker. He'll know what to do.
Yeah, but don't give him the kid of his sister though. So that's the whole thing, is people think that are afraid of what could happen to Grogu, but we got to remember there's a good 15 to 20 years before Kylo Ren becomes a Darth Vader fanboy. How long training goes for, but I don't think that it's going to be
I don't think it's going to take that. Yeah, I don't think it's going to take that long because he's already got some training. He just needs to perfect the craft. And I don't think we go longer than a season without seeing Grogu. I think we see him towards the end of next season, for sure. I don't think we go that long without seeing him. Would you like to see a Luke show, though? Would you like to see a Luke spinoff show?
No.
Really?
No. I think that more than anything, I think that I like what they did with bringing in Luke, but I think that Luke more than anything can just be kind of like this mysterious character that shows up some places and maybe just starts like picking up Jedi for his academy, which I think could be really cool. Just like, like randomly just like appearing in like, some of these shows.
That would be kind of cool. That would be
like, hey, I'm here for the kid.
What if he's basically like the Nick Fury of these movies?
Yeah, pretty much.
That he
I mean,
just, like,
maybe at some point, they might do something with it, like a mini series about like
I
Luke
think
teaching in there.
he,
How much can they really show that?
yeah,
Like
I think,
the only thing they could show is the the kind of tension and struggle between Kylo Ren or Ben
well, there was that
and
rumor. There was a
Luke.
rumor of a young Ben Solo series, but that never really came to fruition.
No, it's kind of in the books. It's in the comics now.
Yeah.
Young Ben Solo and the Luke Skywalker stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a possibility. I think what's more likely is we'll see him pop up here and there. We might see him again next season on The Mandalorian whenever Din goes to go see Grogu. I think a good spot for him to pop up in would be the Ahsoka show. I still want to see that meeting between Ahsoka and Luke.
I think they kind of know that we want that.
Yeah. I think that would be a great interaction to have because, we don't know if Ahsoka knows that in the end, Anakin redeemed himself. Ahsoka can obviously tell Luke a lot about Anakin during the Clone Wars and everything. So I think that's just a meeting that's inevitable at this point. But would you like to see, if we do see more Luke, do you want them to continue with this digital de-aging and just hope the technology gets better as we continue?
I want Sebastian Stan.
Or do you want Sebastian? Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I want Sebastian Stan. How about you?
I think if we just see more Luke cameos in this same style, I'm okay with the digital de-aging. But if we get a full-on Luke series, unless they are really, really devoting a heavy portion of the budget to making it look top-notch, like if it'll look as good as the Marvel digital de-aging with Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel, or like some of the digital de-aging in like Ant-Man and stuff like that. Like if it looked as good as that, I'd be okay with it. But if it looks like Uncanny Valley PS2 graphics like this, I think the recast would be better. But that's just me. The other fun thing, I guess, to think about, do you agree with people saying that from episode 9, when we saw Luke and Leia training in that flashback, and Luke, I
actually would say yes.
Do you think that, do you think that is the point where Grogu reached out to him?
I could say that, yeah.
I would like to think that was...
I would totally I would go with that. I think that could actually be pretty cool.
I would like to think that was what happened as well.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that thought.
Yeah.
Also, I saw an interesting tweet about how the Luke that we saw in The Mandalorian and the Luke that we saw in the sequel trilogy, that both are justified versions of Luke Skywalker. That, you shouldn't have an issue with sequel Luke. That it's completely that even with every super crazy Master Jedi badass Luke, it's okay that he became the Luke that he did in the sequels. What is your take on that?
I think it's a part of Jedi that I think that it's okay, because I think that more or less, I think that part of the reason why Luke kind of went away from everything is not just because, he felt defeated, but I think that he also kind of felt a bit of the dark side in him. Because, we know that the dark side's in Luke, especially in, episode, I guess you could say episode 6, when he was fighting Darth Vader. And he just was using full-on rage, and he was just trying to basically kill Darth Vader. And we kind of know that, everybody that uses the Force struggles with it. Especially light side users that are always struggling with, the dark side, and dark side is struggling with the light. And I feel like it's okay. I feel like it's understandable as to why he could reach that kind of point, because literally everything got turned upside down, and he lost everything. He lost his whole academy. He lost all of his students.
Hopefully not.
He lost the Republic. He lost everything, basically.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. And
yeah, I completely agree. I think if you're a fan of original Luke, you have him in Mandalorian now, showing off the Luke that you remember from 4 through 6 and the Luke that you remember from Legends. But also, as much as I like to hate on the sequels, they're still Star Wars and I still enjoy them to an extent. And I don't find as much of an issue with the portrayal of Luke in the sequel movies as a lot of people do. Now,
all I'm going to say though is, if Yoda can do it, so can Luke, basically. If you can feel that defeated, then so can Luke.
Exactly. Luke did nothing different than Yoda did.
Parallel. Yeah, I think that's the biggest parallel. What they went to a random planet and they were like, yeah, I'm done with this stuff.
Yeah, we're just going to close ourselves off and just failed I
hope
have.
That everything gets better. Yeah.
Into exile I must go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same thing that Luke was feeling.
Child
I think
support
he was just
for
kind of
Grogu
like,
I will not pay.
I think that he hit like a point where he was just kind of like, I lost everybody. I basically even failed, because I mean, he never remarried. He never married or anything like that. He never really had kids. And I think that he kind of felt like Ben was one of his kids,
right?
Probably, and I felt like I think he felt like all of his students were kids. And what happened? Same thing that happened to freaking Yoda. All of his kids basically died. Same thing that
happened to Obi-Wan. Is Anakin was the closest thing he had to a brother. Anakin, you were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
And I
have failed you. So,
but actually, we might actually see some interesting stuff with the Obi-Wan show, because I don't know how Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are gonna have another fight.
All I know is the people that were brought to tears by the Luke appearance in this episode of Mando. That will be me when we see Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor share the screen again.
Oh yeah. Man, what if Ahsoka comes on there too?
And it's so like.
That'd be crazy.
I would literally be just gone. My soul would leave my body. I would become one with the Force.
Coming back to the episode, what are your final thoughts on the episode? Because I mean, personally, my final thoughts are, I'm pretty excited to see where this is all going. I think that they've done some really great stuff. I'm excited to see all this, because I think we're going to get into some serious Mandalorian stuff coming next season.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it's going to be a little backstep for Baby Yoda, and I think he's going to come back next season at some point. But I think this is mainly just going to be a Mandalorian centric season. I think that could be very interesting.
Lore.
Yeah, and on top of that, I'm also just really excited for the Boba Fett show. Like, that's something I've been waiting forever for, and I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it, my shirt, Boba Fett, and it's just Boba like, Fett. Me, like ever since I've seen the original trilogy, I've been a big Boba Fett fan. I've always been a big Boba Fett fan. I always will. And I don't know, it's just like a dream come true, really. Like you always like, it's like, it's not until literally like a month ago, really, that all this really set in for me, and I was like, dang, like we're actually here. We're actually at the point of where this stuff is really happening.
Oh yeah, Boba is totally mainstream now.
Man, it's crazy, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
No, I'm glad to see you super excited for this, and like
So guys, I changed my picture. The Boba Fett. I don't know if you can see it. The Christmas Boba Fett.
It's so small. I can't even see it.
Boba Fett. But yeah.
What's this, Greenie? Assassin Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so excited.
Man, yeah. So final thoughts on the episode for me, though. I think the biggest thing to think about here is we're in for something very interesting next season, because Lucasfilm has the guts to literally write out their merchandising moneymaker with Baby Yoda. His face is on everything. There are so many people that are watching The Mandalorian, or that have watched The Mandalorian now, because of Baby Yoda. They just saw this cute little green baby that's 50 years old, and they're like, I'm gonna watch this. I've never watched a Star Wars thing in my entire life. I don't even know what a Star Wars is, but I'm gonna watch it because there's this cute little baby in it. they decided it is best for the story for Din to say goodbye to his son and let him go off to train with Luke Skywalker. They must have something crazy planned for next season that just did not fit if Grogu was there, so they had to send him away. But as Din said, I promise you, I will see you again. I am not worried. He is in good hands. We'll see Grogu again when the time is right. But now it's time for them to step into, like, you know, with all these chapters and everything, chapters 1 through 16, that was the Din and Grogu story. Now the next chapter, the next volume, the next book, whatever they want to call it, that's going to be Din's, not Din's solo story, but Din's new mission. Now with the Darksaber and everything.
Din's Mandalorian story.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the main thing that's going to be so interesting, is we get like little hints and teases at, you know, Mandalorian culture and this and that. But I mean, we're not really going to see that until, like, you know, now. You know, we're not really going to be able just to have pure Mandalorian because there's nothing else. You know, there's nothing else to talk about. You know, there's no Grogu or anything. There's just Mandalorian. And I think that's just going to be so interesting to see.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I'm just so excited.
I'm very excited.
I can't. Like, I mean, you know how much I love Mandalorians. You know how much I love Mandalorian culture. You know how much I love, you know, I can't even point at. You know how much I love Boba Fett. Yeah. You know, and it's just like. Oh yeah, no, I totally
ready. Know. I totally know.
I'm nerding out, man. I'm nerding out. It's on December's.
I know, dude. Coker Project in the chat. How's it going, bro? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. We're coming close to the end of our Mandalorian discussion. How you doing? What are you thinking? Are you gonna watch Mando? Because you've got to, man. You've got to watch it.
Videos. He already knows everything that's going on.
You've got to watch it, bro. It's so
at
good.
The end of the day, though, I think that's it. I think that's really all I got.
I know.
I'm just really excited. I really am just excited to see all this new Mandalorian stuff.
I'm so excited as well. But I know we got your thoughts on the Boba spinoff. Here's my thoughts on it. I thought the post-credit scene was great. I thought that was a great idea.
Hey Tazz, I'm still waiting for my background. I don't know where you're at with that.
Okay. Here, when I rewatched the episode, I recorded it. I screen recorded it off of OBS.
Whoa, that's illegal. Calm down there.
Is it though? Like I'm using it for screenshots. Screenshot.
Okay.
I'm gonna get your screenshot. Don't worry. Coker Project. You heard Luke came back. Yeah, he did come back. He's there.
He died. Luke died.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Yeah, he died.
100%.
Yeah.
He didn't just take Grogu and leave or anything like that.
Yeah, no. Grogu took Luke's lightsaber and chopped his head off. That's what happened.
Yep. Grogu is the Emperor now.
Yep. That is 100%.
And also he killed Din Djarin.
Yeah, that's the story.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah, Grogu is the next Lord of the Sith. Him and Darth Jar Jar are ruling over the galaxy.
So it turned out that Din was actually Boba Fett's kid, and he just didn't pay child support, and he was coming back and trying to be the dad. That's the second child support joke. That's what are we doing?
I don't even know. But so I'm excited for this though, and I think that it's interesting too, because when they came into Jabba's palace, we had Fennec free the Twi'lek slave, right? Twi'lek. So obviously they're trying to do things a little bit differently. Boba comes in, kills Bib Fortuna, that is looking a little bit more like Jabba. You know? So I think it's interesting. Boba is going to be kind of like the crime boss now. He was kind of taking orders for so long. He's like, all right, now it's my turn.
Let me tell you something. I told you like a couple streams ago. I was like, if they're gonna make a show, it's gonna be Boba Fett. He's gonna come back. He's gonna take over. What's it called? He's gonna take over the Hutt clan, and he's gonna go back to Tatooine. He's gonna make his own.
Oh yeah, you totally called this.
Bounty Hunter Guild, and
it is
that crap.
Boba taking over the underworld. Yeah, you totally called that.
I told you.
But then I like you said, you're waiting for your wallpaper. I know, because it is you get like the dopest shot one of the dopest shots of the entire season, I think. With just Boba just chilling on the the underworld throne. Fennec goes and gets some of the fresh spotchka in the back, and they're both just sitting there, and they're just like, yeah.
Also, I don't think we brought this up yet, but
we're awesome.
Boba and Fennec give off the same vibes, and it's like poetry of Django and what the heck is her name? I'm blanking. What's her name?
She was the bounty hunter in Attack of the Clones. She was a changeling.
Changeling, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that's really cool.
Yeah. I totally agree with that as well. Like the whole outfits.
I do think that Jango Fett did save Changeling's life as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know why, but that just made me think of whose video was it that was like they were like
that's crazy. But you also got to think about this. Do you think that Boba's that cold that he would be able to kill Fennec like that? Like how Jango
there's
killed,
no way. There's no way.
Who knows?
I don't think so.
Hey,
Boba's turned over.
Who knows?
Turned over a new leaf.
Because all he was ever trying to do was he was just trying to help, get back Grogu. Nothing serious. But like, is it worth? Like, I don't know. We don't really like. I feel like we know a good bit about Boba Fett, but we really don't know too much about Boba Fett.
Boba needs a right hand, and literally, Fennec is sitting to the right of Boba. Like, she's on the left of the screen, but like if you think about it, she is literally on Boba's right, so she is Boba's right hand. Like, nah, he wouldn't kill her. Especially because we're getting some backstory for her in Bad Batch as well.
I'm not saying that he will kill her. I'm just saying, would he? Like, would he? Like, if you think like it came down to it, do you think he would ever be able to do that?
I don't know. I think Boba's finally got a friend.
You got a friend in me.
And and then Din's like his pen pal now, probably. It's like he's like like we'll just get like some asides in the Boba Fett show. Like he's like, "Hey Din, how you doing, mate?"
Yeah. Hit me up on the holo.
How's Mandalore?
You'd only know that he'd be like, "Hey Choom, hit me up on the holo." You only know that if you play Cyberpunk though.
Man. But yeah, so I thought that was great. We get Fennec and Boba on the throne. The Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021. This sparked a lot of excitement, like from you and from me.
Yes.
But this also sparked many questions. Would this be its own series? Is it a movie? Is it a limited run series? Is this season? Is it an actual book? Some people were thinking it was a real book. I don't know why it would be a real book, but
Well, I mean, if you actually think about it, back in the olden days of the original trilogy, Star Wars, a lot of people were expecting that I forget which storyline it was, like the whole short, like the whole like Shadow Collector story or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, there's this whole storyline. I forget what the name of it was. Oh, what was it? It was like the one with like the green dude.
Green dude.
I don't know. Anyway, a lot of people thought that was just going to be like a movie or like a TV show or something, and it turned out it was just going to be like a book, and a lot of people were disappointed. Because they advertised it as like a movie or something.
I don't know.
Which kind of sucked, and they had like toys and everything.
Interesting. But anyway, so people were thinking, is it its own thing? Is it a limited series? Is it a movie? Is it a book? Is this season 3 of The Mandalorian? Lucasfilm has come out and confirmed the Book of Boba Fett is its own series. It is coming out December 2021 on Disney Plus. But still the big question around it is this coming out in place of The Mandalorian season 3? Also, it's filming right now. Also, it's supposedly
Shadow of the Empire. That's what it was. Okay. A lot of people thought.
Also, it's supposedly
Shadow of the Empire was.
It's supposedly filming right now. Actually, I just saw that before we went live. Is that it's with the confirmation? It's its own series and it's filming probably right now.
Yeah, it's filming right now, guys. Right now.
Like right now. Okay. Like as it's happening right now.
They are filming.
Yeah, as we are.
What they are saying is, "I'm Boba Fett."
on
That's the
Boba
line
Fett.
he's saying right now. I'm watching, of course.
Yeah. So they're filming it right now. It's its own thing. But do you think that we are getting a small hiatus of The Mandalorian when this airs, or do you think that this is going to be a limited series that'll air like maybe 4 episodes or so before the next season of The Mandalorian?
I don't think they're going to be doing anything crazy. I think it's going to be the same thing as the Obi-Wan stuff. But I mean, it depending on how it ends, they might be able to do more stuff with it. But it really just, again, it depends on what like happens with it. Or maybe it leads into him going ahead and joining Mando once again for some mission. Like, what if it's like Arrow or something?
Yeah, I think it could almost be like
when the show comes out, when like the last episode happens. If it's like, let's say like a limited series, you like watch all the episodes, and then like the last episode, he like goes ahead and like is like, oh, Mando's like, oh, I need you or something, and the next episode he pops up in Mando.
Right.
And,
so yeah,
Mando,
I think it's gonna be kind of like just bridging the gap in between this season of The Mandalorian and next season. It's just gonna be like an in between thing, probably a limited run series. And we'll most likely see Boba Fett pop up in the next season of The Mandalorian at some point, maybe. Maybe, that's my thing.
Maybe.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's gonna be its own thing. It's its own series. Probably, in my opinion, it's gonna be a limited run. And it'll come out before season 3 of The Mandalorian. And we're just getting more. We're just getting so much stuff, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I am totally here for it. I'm excited. So I'm very satisfied by that ending, man. I mean, the only thing is it's sad that we are not going to be getting any Star Wars TV. Well, I guess any Mandalorian stuff until this time next year for literally an entire year.
They're taking their time. They're taking their time,
and that's fine.
I'm never mad at that.
No, exactly. And we've got Disney Plus Marvel shows to keep us occupied. I guess Cassian Andor will probably come out beforehand because that's filming right now as well. And it's been filming for a while, so we'll get that at some point as well. The universe is expanding, and I couldn't be any more excited. Let's hope. Here, I'm gonna set a goal for myself, maybe, between now and next season of The Mandalorian. How about we set a goal for both of us? Between now and the next season of The Mandalorian. Let's do our best to get close to a Mandalorian.
You're gonna say we're not gonna be able to make the armor in time.
Maybe we don't make it. Maybe we somehow find a decent price on some armor.
I don't think we're gonna be able to make it.
Because I'm loving these. I don't
Shut
know.
it down before you even say it.
Never say never, right? Come on, like
never say never.
A lot can happen in a year. Yeah. Let's make it. It doesn't have to happen. I still have just my normal Mandalorian helmet, so that's that. But I would love some full Mandalorian armor.
We'll see.
Before, like, if we have it, we will wear it. Hold
every
us to
stream.
It. Maybe not every stream, but at least the first. At least the first one.
Yeah,
at least the first one.
We'll see.
We'll see. I want like.
We can try, but
we can try. I've seen so many people with such good Mandalorian cosplays, so many good Boba Fett cosplays, so many great Din Djarin cosplays. I'm like, I want that. I want that so bad. I've had
watch you get in and then randomly get like a growth spurt or something.
Oh my! Just like I thought I was done growing.
Yeah.
And I just like sprout. Nah, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, good. You never know. Some people that like go off in like their senior year of college or something, come back and then boom.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard the stories of like athletes and stuff that are like,
just never know, man. You never know.
Crazy. I don't know. Anyway, I want some Mandalorian armor. That'd be fun. But with that said, this season was amazing. I liked it more than the first season. I thought this finale was pretty much a perfect end to the season. Not 100% perfect. Still, I have to take off a little bit for the CGI. Yep. But aside from that, I'd say it was a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked it even more the second time around. I'm currently working on my season overview and finale review for this whole season of The Mandalorian. If you guys have seen my season overviews for any of the DC TV shows, I did one for The Flash this season, for Legends. I'm working on this. I'm hopefully going to get it out at some point, maybe next week. Going to try to, up the production value on these ever so slightly every single time. I also have a really fun Arrow season overview, finale review for the final season that I have in the works as well. Kind of want to make that like a high production video essay almost. The Mandalorian one won't be quite that crazy, but I'll try to make it good for you guys. I'll try to make it really good for you guys. I'm excited for it. That's kind of something that's been in the works for a while, but now that the whole season's over, finally have the tools I need to create this. So hopefully I'll get it out next week. If not next week, it'll definitely be out before the end of the year for sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have to say on Mando. It was great. And if for whatever reason you've gotten this far and you didn't care about spoilers, but you haven't watched it yet, watch it. Just go watch.
Talk about it long, but it's not as good as actually watching it.
Yeah, exactly. You could hear us talk about it. You could watch videos on it. You could watch clips. I've seen like some people just say like they just watch like Baby Yoda compilations and stuff, and like they don't actually watch the show. I'm like, just watch the show. Like the episodes aren't even that long.
Yeah.
But yeah,
especially this season.
Especially this, yeah. And last season's episodes are pretty short too, but that's still my biggest gripe with the entire series is that the episodes are too short. But I still think it would be better on a binge, which I want to try to do at some point. Just binge the entire thing. It would take like 4 hours max,
Oh, yeah. But I think it'd be fun.
It would be very fun. It would be kind of like a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, but we got to work on our watching of Cobra Kai before that next season drops in January, so...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we gotta go watch all the Karate Kid movies and then rewatch Cobra Kai and everything.
I just Cobra Kai movies. I meant Karate Kid movies.
Yeah, go rewatch. Yeah, well, we'll
running out.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's coming out pretty soon here too.
Yeah, so it's coming out in January. There's a lot of things coming out in January actually.
There's a lot of stuff coming out pretty soon.
Also, of course, in December we have Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, we've got Wonder Woman 1984 Christmas Day. We've got Cobra Kai Season 3 early January. We have mid-January WandaVision, and then Batwoman Season 2 comes out like later that week. And then we've got a little bit of a gap until the rest of the DC shows come back towards the end of February. But yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to get excited for. Next year is going to just be jam-packed with releases.
Yeah, everything that was supposed to come out in 2020 is going to come out in 2021 anyway.
Yeah, we're going to get like a double dose of content. Entertainment. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be hard to cover. It's going to be hard to cover it all. It's going to definitely be hard to cover everything. Whatever I don't make videos on, we'll try to stream and talk about.
Because you still need to watch Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, I do. I do still need to watch the Harley Quinn. There's so many things I still need to watch. I need to watch that. I need to catch up on Riverdale. I need to so much stuff.
I would watch Harley Quinn before you watch Riverdale. Harley Quinn is so easy to finish up.
Yeah, I know.
There's 2 seasons and it's so quick.
I know. I will at some point. Trust me. I'll get to it. I will get to it for sure. But yeah, there's so much content coming, and like I said, whatever I don't.
The Pit. You don't know that. I mean, you do, but you don't. I don't know.
I know that's a Bane reference. It sounds like Bane. But yeah, whatever we don't get to in videos, I'll talk about on stream for sure. That's the beauty of streaming, is things that I wouldn't normally make full on videos devoted to. I can just talk about here in a nice free form content way and have other people's opinions. And with you and Crusader when he's on, and other guests if Coker Project wants to hop in at any time, Yeah.
That's
fun. Hopefully we'll get more guests on next year and everything. But with that, would you like to move on to your Cyberpunk review?
I was thinking that might want to push it back to when Wonder Woman drops when we do that video. This one's already getting pretty long as is. And I mean, I think just 2 reviews in one might be good. And also, I haven't finished up all the endings yet of the game anyway.
Okay.
I've been taking like a little bit of break, but I mean, I can give a good review of like what I have so far. And I mean, I've only done one ending. I've done I don't know if I should say it. So I'll give a spoiler-free one right now. And I'll
give
like
a spoiler-free talk right now.
But I know there's a lot of issues that people are having with bugs and everything with Cyberpunk, but personally, I don't have any issues. Like I've maybe had one game-breaking bug, which was my game crashed, and that was it. I mean, I'm playing on PC. I'm not playing on crazy specs. I'm still running with a 1060. Nothing crazy. And I mean, I don't have like crazy amounts of RAM or anything like that. And I mean, to be honest, when people were talking about how many bugs and everything that they were having, I was kind of confused because I mean, personally, I didn't experience any of these. And you know, watching videos of people, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it seems like, of course, a lot of these are more frequent with Xbox One and PS4 consoles. And I would say if you have one of those, just don't even bother until like, you know, they get fixed. But even then, they're not going to look good. This is like the next crisis. Like I mean, it looks good on my system, and even my system, you know, there was like a little like pop-in issues, but I mean, that's not the game's issue. That's my PC issue. You know, I'm gonna need to upgrade soon anyway. But I mean, the game is just fun. It's really fun. It just, you know, the story is great. It's one of the best stories I've had. I would give the story a 10 out of 10, easy. Combat is pretty basic. I'd give it like a 7, maybe 8. And just like the whole like graphics and environment, you know, world building, all that, 10 out of 10. I think the game is easily a 9, 9.5. But that's again, if the game runs well for you, which for me it does. And I know a lot of people just are having serious issues with the game, and I can completely get that. But like, at least from my experience with the game, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. With the way that things are going, with like development wise, you know, overall, again, I would give the game 9, 9.5 out of 10. But again, one of the best stories I've ever experienced, and probably in like at least my top 10 of story games, maybe even top 5, really depends. It's really good. It gives me good vibes of like, you know, Skyrim and stuff, you know, not as huge of a world, but it's big in its own right, you know, because it's a big old city and all that. But I will say that the only issue I really have with it is all the stuff that's going on with the other systems. And I think that in general, this is an issue that I kind of thought was going to happen. And it's just, this game was in development, as in like the thought process was in development a good while ago. You know, this is a game that's been, you know, in the works for 8 years. But, you know, of course, they haven't been developing the game for 8 years. And their first initial thoughts were making the game available for, you know, the Xbox One and the PS4. But the thing is, it was too ambitious for the time. And I can understand as well why it took forever to make, is because I think they were really waiting for the newer systems. And at that point, you know, it's just, the game was said to, yes, come out on Xbox One and PS4. But I mean, in reality, it's just, it wasn't meant for those, you know. And I think that's a sad realization, but it's just like, it's just not really meant for them, you know. It's just like the scale of it, the graphical fidelity of it, the craziness, the scale of it. It's just, it's mainly first a story game, and that's what it is. You know, it's supposed to look good, and it's supposed to have really great, you know, character development, really great characters in general. And just also, one thing that I really love about it is when you talk to characters in the game, they don't, like, time doesn't just stop. Everything is still moving. Like, the world feels like it's alive. Like, the world feels like it's living. Everybody has like their own things. Everything feels great and alive, you know. And that's the main reason why I also like it. You know, I like games that I can just sink into, and games that I can just live. And like, you know, when you play as like the main character, the character that you make is, at least it makes me feel like I'm the main character, you know. And it feels great, you know. It feels great to be that character. and it makes me feel like, you know, I have a connection with the characters, and it makes me feel like I actually have to make real decisions, you know. And I don't know, at least to me, it just is great, you know. And the game again looks great, even, you know, on some of my older hardware, it looks great. And I feel really bad for those that can't really experience it, but I say that if you have an Xbox One, PS4, either wait till you get an upgrade, or wait until the game gets fixed on those. And I mean, because I'm not lying, but they knew that this was going to happen, which really does suck. And they really should have said something about it before the game released. And I think that it would have been a lot better if they said something, like at least like something like, you know, not results may vary, but I mean, as in like the game might not run that well on the older systems. I think that would have been perfectly fine to say. But I mean, I do understand what was going on. They were getting a lot of, you know, they're being stressed out a whole bunch. They're being kind of pushed on a crunch time that people really wanted the game. And, you know, they're like, oh, here, you know. And it wasn't completely ready. And it's one of those games I don't think is going to be ready for a good bit. But I do think that they're trying their best to fix this. And I think that it's going to be a game that, when a lot more people have the newer consoles, and when a lot more people have PCs and everything, and when people are going to give it a second shot, you know, people are going to be like, wow, this game is really good, you know. And you know, I think it's finally going to hit home for a lot of people, and a lot of people are really going to enjoy it. I think this is one of the games that it's not going to be doing too hot now, but I promise you guys, in a good amount of time, few months, maybe even a year, the game is going to be really big, you know, and a lot of people are going to enjoy it, especially when some of these things get fixed. And when a lot of people get these newer systems, newer rigs and all that. But I would say if you're questioning if you should get it or not, first ask yourself, okay, could whatever system I have it on run it? Again, if you have PS4 or Xbox One, I wouldn't even try it. At least not in the state that it's in on those systems. And if you have like the Pro or something, you know, like the PS4 Pro, I mean, it's okay. It's a little bit better, but it's not that great. Really, the main thing is PS5 and, you know, the Series X are the way to go. And even those aren't the best for it. But if you have like a PC, and again, I'm running on 1060. I'm running on like high settings and stuff. There's a little bit of pop in, but you know, I think most people have higher than a 1060 now. So I would say most definitely, if you have a PC, give it a shot. Again, results may vary, seeing as I had like 2 glitches. Like, I had the one where my game, of course, just crashed, and that was after like hours and hours of playtime. So I can kind of understand that. And then the second one, the second glitch I had was just like where like a character would like revert back to like some of the animations of like a previous conversation. That's just because I was what's it called? I kind of was rushing through some of the conversation that they were having, and I like asked them like one question, and I just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain exactly what was going on, but I tried to move forward the game. Oh, and I had a third glitch. The only other one was I tried to enter this building before I should have, because again, as I said, my PC had serious pop-in issues, and some of the bars and things don't open up until like a certain time, and the game thought that it was a certain time when it really wasn't, because things didn't pop in yet, and like the front guards the bouncers didn't pop in yet, so I was able just to like walk in and bypass the conversation I was supposed to have outside, and it messed up the game, so I had to reload a save to when I was outside the building. But that's about it. Nothing too serious there. It just wouldn't let me leave. And again, I just had to reset it. But that's about it. You know, and that's in like 47 hours a game of playtime. Like, some people are saying that they've like played it for hours. You know, like maybe like only like 2-3 hours, and they like could barely get through anything in the game, which I just feel is really sad. But you know, I feel like it's gonna get better with time, as all things do. But yeah, I would say if you really are really questioning it, you know, there's no problem in waiting. You know, it's just your experience might, you know, come later, and of course, spoilers. But I'm not gonna give spoilers out in this review. I don't think I'm gonna need to do my other review. But there's about 3 different endings. And from what they sound like, I've only gotten one, but they all seem really good, and very interesting and very different kind of takes on the character, and like really exactly, what your mindset is as the character. So I don't know. I think that's about it though. Overall, again, 9.5 out of 10. And then if you're talking about like all the glitches, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. But I didn't really experience any of those. Again, this is just off of what other people say. But of course, this is my own experience, and everybody's gonna have different experiences when they play the game. So, if you hear, "Oh, Toxic Strike told me this," I don't know, man. That's just how I experienced the game. Everything's gonna be different for everybody. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10. I loved it. I love the experience. I love the story. Gunplay and everything is a little but that's like anything, even like Skyrim and stuff, they don't really have the best fighting. It's just the main point is the story. And I guess kind of the glitches, but that's Bethesda. Anyway, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
So in conclusion, you have no life. Because you spent 47 hours playing this game over like what, 2 weeks?
That was like the first like weekend. And like I still was like doing school stuff. So yeah.
No, that's fine. In about half that time I've put over like 25 hours now into the Avengers game, because I bought that when it was on sale like last weekend, and I've just been grinding that like crazy for absolutely no reason. It is so repetitive, it is so monotonous, but for whatever reason I'm having a lot of fun with it. So if it's on sale, buy it, because it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, especially now that they added Kate Bishop to it. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a lot better than it was during the beta. They've fixed a lot of the bugs and issues, and it's fun to see people debating which game is in a worse state, Cyberpunk or Avengers. So
here's the thing, though. Like, I again, as I said, I know that Cyberpunk for some people is in like a really bad state, but like, if I never like went on the internet, I would never have known about like 99% of these glitches. Like, I'm being so serious with you guys. Like, I've experienced like no glitches. And I mean, I might just be lucky, but I mean, I don't know. But also, I feel like in any of these open world games, especially when they first drop, there's going to be so many glitches, and it's just it's so hard to figure out everything, because again, the world is so big and there's so much going on at one time. Again, the same thing with Avengers, same thing with Skyrim. I don't know if you know about this, but also big tip is if you're playing the game, sometimes if you have too much storage on your like if you store too much of saves, it could like corrupt some save files. And if you didn't know, that's the same thing that happened with Skyrim on the PS3. It's just a lot of these big games just can really kill some systems. But it's crazy.
Yeah, we're in a weird state for games right now, because, it's difficult to release games right now because everybody's working from home, obviously, and it's a little hard to make a game at home.
Yeah.
But
it's the thing about Call of Duty. I mean, what happened when Call of Duty dropped?
I know, is everything is
bugs and glitches. I mean, I think that the major reason as to why people are getting on Cyberpunk so much is because of the massive development time. But I mean, I don't think that they also understand that like this game wasn't being made for 8 years. It was being talked about and discussed for 8 years. But I mean, they had to put this on what, five generations of systems, and having to make it enough for the old gen because that's what they promised. But I mean, for a fact that they wanted this on the next gen. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's the same thing that happened with Witcher 3. I never really played Witcher 3. I'm not a big fan of Witcher 3. So I mean, no, I'm not just at the feet of CD Projekt Red. This is really my first CD Projekt Red game that I played. But I mean, I just think that it's crazy. But I also feel like I feel like a lot of people are just getting on the game too much for some of the bugs, when it's really not that bad. And a lot of games have even worse bugs and glitches.
Yeah, I mean, things have been launching in rough states this year, but it'll get better. But I think also what a lot of these game companies can learn too is when it's not ready for prime time, it's best to just delay it until it is.
Well, I mean, I think the other reason is, I think that CD Projekt Red was almost forced to being like to release it at this time, because of course there's not many games coming out.
I'm sure they were.
But, I mean, also, there's a lot of fans that were just like begging for it. They were getting like death threats left and right, which I mean, death threats is never the answer. And it's just like, if people just like let them be, I don't think they would really be that mad about it. So many people were like, "Oh my god, another delay, another delay, another delay." Yeah, it's like, just let them be,
In my opinion, like, we talked about this a few streams ago or whatever, but, like, a rushed game is never good, but a delayed game will eventually get there. You know? I'd much rather have a game delayed multiple times over than have a game release in a state like... like Black Ops Cold War.
I think that statement is wrong now, because I mean, some games can most definitely be fixed. Destiny is a good example. Battlefront 2 is another good example. Modern Warfare is a kind of good example. I know you don't like it very much, but that's also a decent example. Rainbow Six Siege, another good example.
I mean, there are definitely games that have launched in horrendous states, and
Avengers.
After a while they've gotten better and better and better, and you would hope that now with games
Witcher 3,
right, and you would hope that games get better over time now with how they're kind of like live services and they're updated as you go on. But my thing though is I miss the old days when you spent your money on your game, what you got was what you got, and you got a full game at launch. A $60 game 5-10 years ago you're not getting nearly as much content as you're getting in a $60 game today. No. And that is the unfortunate truth to it.
But I mean, the other thing is also, one thing I actually do like about Cyberpunk is that all the DLCs that are going forward are all going to be free. And I think that they're actually going to put care into these DLCs. And I mean, it's not like there's not a whole bunch of gameplay there as well already. There's a lot there already. But I mean, there's obviously still some games that were, older games that just aren't really too hot, There's just some games that just, I mean, you play like a good amount of, but it's just like really like, what is there to do? Again, I mean, I'm not hating on the old Battlefront games, but I'm like, how much is there really to do besides just like, run, games over and over and over again, There's no like leveling system or anything. Yeah, I mean, you could play with your friends, but I mean, it's the same thing as like any old shooter game or anything, especially like back in the days when, you couldn't go back and, play with like friends or play, multiplayer or whatever. A lot of those games were just, you play it as many times as you want. And that's how you, run. That's how you pad the runtime basically,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think kind of it's kind of par for the course at this point with the way games are. Is we're moving in that state where most games are released as, hey, this is the base of what we've got. We have an idea of where we want this game to go in the future. We're not going to release it in that full state, but we're going to give you like...
Game development is a lot different than it was before. Like, games are a lot deeper, a lot more polished than they ever were before.
Oh,
I mean, the issue is like clunkiness of games. Like, the old games are very clunky.
Yeah,
I mean, a good amount of them are. Also, it's just, again, the graphical fidelity, all of it. It's just, it's really hard to...
Think about it like this, though. But think about it like this, though. Is something like, say, compare Black Ops Cold War to Black Ops 1. Games that released literally 10 years apart, right?
Yeah.
Black Ops 1 had so many more campaign missions, so many more multiplayer maps, so many more guns.
That's a completely different situation. Because Black Ops 1 was actually a game that had a full development cycle. Cold War didn't.
Right.
And that's one of the main issues, is that Cold War had like half of a development cycle.
Right, exactly. Like so it was released in like the most bare bones state. The game was released and it was basically a beta with a leveling system.
Yeah, that's literally what
and they just released Season 1, and it seems like they broke the game even more.
Yeah.
I haven't even been on to play it. Like, I downloaded the update, but I never played it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. We could talk forever on this. We're nearing 2 hours. I don't want to end the stream on. I don't want to end. I don't want to end the stream on a bad note. So something kind of fun here that I guess we could talk about right at the end. That I saw without, bringing up too much negativity on it. But it's been a year since Rise of Skywalker came out, which is kind of interesting. A lot has happened since then. The movie has sat and kind of grown in my head a little bit. Like, the more I think about it, the less I like it, but I still remember having a good experience seeing it. If that makes any sense. Like, the first time you see any movie, you're usually
episode 9.
Yeah, for episode 9. Yeah,
I came out that movie theater and I was like, dang, really?
I don't know. Like, I didn't.
Like, I'm not trying to mean, but like, I kind of left it and I was like, really?
Well,
like, this is how we're gonna end this.
This is the thing. I didn't.
Mandalorian. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
okay, we're good. We're safe.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're safe. But like, I didn't hate it when we first saw it, but I still have not seen it since. I've not seen it since. I've seen videos on it. I have seen clips, but I have never rewatched the entire movie again. And I've liked it less and less the more I thought about it. But it's still fun to think about, hey, it's been a year, and think about how much better, how much course correction Star Wars has done in this last year, where you would have never thought that when Mandalorian season 1 was airing last year and we got the Rise of Skywalker and we thought, oh, this is it, like, we're done with Star Wars for a while. You would have never thought T-minus a year from then we would have Luke show up in The Mandalorian, Din has the Darksaber, Grogu's going to train with Luke. We've got all these different spin-offs happening. A Boba Fett show is being filmed right now. It's just insane.
Oh yeah, also I just kind of almost forgot, but this is like the last episode for a while.
Yeah.
Like a little while.
Yeah.
We need a vacation too, guys.
Oh, you're talking about the last stream episode.
I thought we were
going to talk about Wonder Woman when that comes out.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know if we're going to do it like full stream style. We're still trying to figure that out.
We'll probably just do it a stream. We'll just probably make it like, we'll make like a cutoff like at like the hour mark. We're not going to go 2 hours for it, but like maybe we could talk.
Saying that like we could just like do like the little sit down talk, like a 20-minute sit down talk.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends. Also, when we stream, we don't have to also make them like an hour or 2 hours, whatever. We could literally come on, talk for 20 minutes and be done about it, you know? If you guys would be okay with that too, because, you know, yeah, it depends on that too. So,
I mean, is it going to be a spoiler talk or is it going to be spoiler free?
I think that kind of depends on what kind of movie it is. If there's a lot of stuff in there that we can't
I think that it's going to be a fun movie,
around,
but I don't think that it's going to be too crazy.
I don't know. I've heard some people say that it's really, really good, but I'm not sure if like it's to the extent where you have to talk spoilers, or if you can kind of just talk broad strokes.
Pedro Pascal's in that movie.
Yeah,
too,
I know.
so.
Pedro Pascal's in that movie as well. So that's the
in everything now.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm really excited for. So
Maxwell Lord.
Whatever happened to Maxwell Lord on Supergirl?
I don't know. Like he died or something. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Wasn't he like trying to like get with like Alex, and then like Alex was like, I think I'm gay.
I don't know. I don't even remember back to season 1.
I really don't. Like season 1 just got retconned basically. I didn't even watch season 1. Same thing with Gotham. I didn't watch season 1.
You're right. You didn't. I watched season 1 of both those shows.
I watched like a little bit of season 1. I watched some of the Maxwell Lord stuff.
You watched.
But I came in late.
No, yeah. Is whenever they announced that Supergirl was going to cross over with Flash.
Because that's what I did. I only watched like Flash and Arrow.
Exactly. Like that's when you started watching it after that. But yeah, that's interesting.
I really do like Supergirl though.
Yeah, it became a really good show. I'm sad that it's ending with this final with
the thing though, I feel like I think we could see more of Alex, of course.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of these I think like Alex and Nia,
Martian Manhunter, maybe,
and Martian Manhunter. I think they would make a great like spin-off show, like a
no,
Legion.
I think that Alex in general, like I think that it's like the same thing as Argus. I think that she could just like pop up in things, because I mean, to really think about it.
You mean?
Of course, she's a great character, of course.
But you mean like Diggle?
Yeah, but I mean, she could be like Diggle,
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I'm just saying, is in like the fact of she of course runs the. I was about to say the DOD. She runs the. It's been so long, I don't remember.
DEO.
But anything.
I don't even think she's. I don't even think she's at the DEO anymore. Remember?
Oh yeah, she left.
Yeah, she left the DEO, and then she's working
aliens,
with
she'll probably get it back. But like anything like relating to aliens or anything like that, they always can handle that stuff. And I mean, I think the aliens are going to be in some of the other shows. We'll have to see, though.
Oh yeah, because everything's on Earth Prime now, so
yeah,
there's so much.
That's something we didn't really get to see much last season.
Oh yeah,
but I think we will be able to see it this season.
Oh yeah.
Especially with Diggle going to every show.
Yeah, that'll be great. He'll just show up. Diggle.
Yeah. Don't.
But anyway, we would just sit here and ramble forever. We're over 2 hours now. This has been fun. This is the final Mandalorian season 2 talk stream. We somehow stuck to it and did a stream every week for the last 8 weeks.
I don't even know why I was here for all of them.
I literally dragged this man out of bed just so he could be on this stream.
I know, I was like, I look horrible, but hey, we're gonna do it anyway.
It's fine, we all look horrible.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this. Hopefully many more streams.
Conversations.
Oh yeah, we had such great conversations. So yeah, thank you to all of you guys watching. Thank you to anybody who's just popped in on a stream. Shout out to Toxic Crusader, who is usually on these but couldn't make it tonight. Yeah, just shout out to all of you guys. I've loved these this year. I'm so glad that I started streaming. That was kind of one of those things that I really wanted to do, and I'm so glad that we did it. Especially for the Mandalorian here. I want to stream a lot more next year as well. And we'll have so much content to talk about. There will be no shortage of things to say on stream. So here's to hoping they don't go to, like, we don't just talk forever and have like a 4-hour stream like we did on Twitch. We were playing games on Halloween. That was kind of fun. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. Do you have anything else to say? Because if not, I've got one joke and then we're good.
Oh my god, the jokes.
Okay. Who is the announcer for a secret underground Mandalorian wrestling ring?
I have no idea.
Vince McMahon.
What's wrong with you? Good stream, guys. That's it.
And with that, that's about it.
Started with a joke and ended with one.
And with that we're done. We're done for tonight. We're done making jokes. That was fun. Thanks for sticking with us for all of these Mando streams. I'll keep you updated if we end up doing a stream for Wonder Woman 1984, or if that just turns into a video. I'll be doing my Mando Season 2 overview and finale review at some point within the next week or so be on the lookout for that. So yeah, just thank you guys so much for coming out to the stream once again. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you come back whenever we stream again. Also, happy holidays, as this is the last stream before Christmas, most likely. Whatever holiday you celebrate, if it's Christmas, if it's something else, just happy holidays. I hope you guys have a wonderful end to this crazy year. Hopefully, The Mandalorian or something has brought some light in these times. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with us. Hope you enjoyed it. But until next time, guys, it's been Tazz and Strike, and we will see you guys in the next stream.